I've worked overnight jobs most of my life. You get used to strange calls, wrong addresses, panicked voices, but there's one call I took that still makes my stomach drop. Because the address didn't exist, and someone still answered when I arrived. This happened about 6 years ago. At the time, I was working overnight emergency maintenance for a regional utilities company. If something broke, power, water, gas, I was one of the people they sent. Most nights were quiet, too quiet. Around 2:40 a.m., my phone rang. Dispatch said there was a reported power outage at an old manufacturing site on the edge of town. The place had been shut down for years, but parts of the grid still ran through it. That alone wasn't strange. What was strange was that someone had called it in. I pulled up the address. It sat miles beyond the last streetlight, down a cracked access road I'd never driven before. No houses, no businesses, just dark land and dead silence. Still, a job was a job. By the time I reached the road, my GPS lost signal. The screen froze, then reset. I drove the rest by memory and faint signage until I saw it. A massive rusted building crouched in the darkness like it was trying not to be seen. No lights, no cars, no signs of life. I parked and sat there for a moment, engine running. That's when my radio crackled. Not dispatch, just static. Then a voice, low, calm. "Breakers inside." I grabbed the radio, asked who was speaking, no response. I told myself it was interference, old wiring, faulty signal. I shut off the engine and stepped out. The air felt wrong, thick, like the sound was being swallowed. My flashlight barely cut through the dark as I approached the entrance. The main door was already open. That's when I noticed something that made me pause. Fresh footprints, leading inside. I called out, announcing myself, standard procedure. No answer. Inside, the building smelled like dust and cold metal. Every sound I made echoed too loudly. My boots, my breathing. I followed the electrical room signs deeper into the facility. That's when the door behind me slammed shut. Not violently, deliberately. I spun around, heart hammering. The door didn't move again. Then the radio crackled, same voice. "You're close," I shouted back, demanding to know who it was. The radio clicked. "You already know." That's when I realized something. Dispatch never called back to check in. No follow-ups, no confirmation, no tracking. I was alone. I reached the breaker room. The panel was open, but nothing was wrong. No tripped switches, no damaged lines, just silence. Then I heard footsteps, slow, dragging slightly, coming from behind me. I didn't turn around because something in my head told me, if I saw it, I wouldn't leave. The radio crackled one last time. "You weren't supposed to fix it." I ran. I didn't care about procedure. I didn't care about the job. I sprinted through corridors that suddenly felt longer than before, turns I didn't remember making, doors I didn't remember passing. The exit wasn't where it should have been. The flashlight flickered, then went out. In the dark, something whispered right next to my ear. "Stay." I slammed into a door blindly and fell through it. Cold air hit my face. I was outside. I ran to my truck, hands shaking so badly I dropped my keys twice. The engine roared to life. As I peeled away, my headlights swept across the building, and for just a second, I saw figures standing in the doorway, not moving, not waving, just watching. The next morning, I checked the call logs. Dispatch had no record of an outage, no report, no address. The site? It had been fully disconnected from the grid over a decade earlier, and no one should have been able to call it in. I quit that job 3 weeks later. Sometimes, late at night, my phone still buzzes. No number, no voicemail, just static. And every time, I let it ring.